Good morning. Before we begin the ceremony with Mr. Anopoulos, I want to thank the students and I want to thank our distinguished guests for coming this morning. This is all the rewards of the hard work of our Heritage Committee, which has done an outstanding job as we left our old building and now as we enter our end of our first year in a wonderful new building. The completion of this whole project is the time capsule. So our Heritage Committee and Mr. Anopoulos deserve a huge round of applause. And now I'd like to introduce Mr. Anopoulos to start the ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Broadwell. Good morning, everyone. The Heritage Group and I wish to welcome our town officials, school committee members, administrators, Superintendent Dr. Oakley, alumni, families, and friends to our time capsule dedication event. We also welcome our current seniors assembled here today, the class of 2016, the first to be graduating from this new school building. I want to take a moment to recognize each student in the Heritage Group, alumni Jason Ross, some who cannot be with us but need to be remembered nonetheless, Carissa Manning, Tiffany Ames Anderson, current seniors Simone Cablin, Andrew Chan, Maya Hay, and Charles Magnarelli. And our junior James Harrington. It was your dedication and caring efforts that made our heritage goals a reality. We are forever grateful for all of your efforts in preserving and in illuminating our school's culture and its history. Please give them a deserving round of applause. This project began a little over 2 years ago when we learned that a new school building was going to be a reality. My thoughts turned to what this transitional moment meant. For some, it meant not having to sit half frozen in a building when the heat failed, or dodging those leaks on rainy days. For others, it meant remembering the great flood of 2015, building inspired, not of natural causes. Who can forget those dreary curtains, or hard chairs in the auditorium, cold showers in the gym locker rooms, if they even worked, power failures, single pane glass that blocked out little to no sound, and so forth, the wooden seats in the bleachers. Now we can look back and laugh at these as entertaining quirks of our old building, but for us in the Heritage Group, the business at hand turned to unraveling at a deeper thread, one that spans time, one that spans more than just a building. What did it all mean? Let me turn to a story a friend recently reminded me of. This is a story in which I have already accepted its lessons, and I have already made this part of my life's compass. It is one that I think you can relate with, too. A young adult befriends an adolescent boy who is 12 years old. The boy has never been to the city, or seen a ball game, or taken in an art show. So the young adult takes him under his wing and shows him all these things and more. On late hot summer nights, they view Red Sox games on TV, reveling at each play with howling cries of disdain or joy. Their chorus is met by cries from neighbors and family. Keep the noise down, we're trying to get some sleep. They visit a boat maker and see how his new sloop is coming along, most of which is being built with his own hand. They take in the city's museums, skyscrapers, and the waterfront, a city the young boy finds to be alive with energy. On another day, they fly a kite so high, continuing to tie string end to string end until it almost disappears from their view. They play catch and take turns at batting practice. Together they build a rabbit hutch and raise bunnies. They genuinely enjoy play, laughter, and exploring. Each day was filled with yet another opportunity for some fun new adventure. The cancer that took the young adult from this world could never extinguish what he had done for the young boy. The boy was sad at the loss of his friend, but he realized that a part of his friend will forever live in him, providing him examples, enriching him, igniting life's passions within the young boy. Heritage is about teaching us choices, choices on how to live life, how to conduct ourselves. Heritage is not about the acquisition of great wealth and material things, because if this is the case, you will never have enough. It is not about power, because you will always try to control people or live in fear or feel weak. Heritage is not about appearance, because vanity will take you so far, leaving you empty and unfulfilled. It is not about parading your intellect, which only makes you look like a fool or a fraud. Heritage offers so much more for those who dare to nurture it and to embrace its gifts. It is about cultivating a meaningful and purposeful life. It is a torchlight handed down to each of us that beckons and guides us in our time, in the moment, and it is a light we build upon, and one that each of us, given his or her gifts, must try to convey to the person in need, to our students, to a fellow classmate, to a teammate, to each other, and to the lonely adolescent. In a moment, each of the members of the Heritage Group will read their own reflection of what this has meant to them. Each of you will undoubtedly have your own takeaways today and from your own Wildcat experiences. But ask yourself these few simple questions. Do I have fond memories from my days in West Bridgewater schools that I will forever treasure? Do I have caring friends and teachers in my life? Am I the same person now than when I entered West Bridgewater schools? Did I have opportunities in classes, in athletics, in drama, in music or art, and so forth, to try new experiences and to build upon my mistakes? Did I grow as a person? Do I know a little bit more about myself, my community, and the world around me? Do I recognize these gifts that I have received and that I possess the power to pass the light torch forward to another? So often we chase after things without realizing we are already home. For these first sparks of youth's flame are the light that is the torch of your life. May it burn bright in you. May it sustain you. May you pass it on to others. For we are forever Wildcats. We've tasted the fruits, and we know the path of our heritage, for it is well worn by those traveling before us. We only need to remember to exercise our will to choose it. Thank you very much. At this time, we will turn to the reflections that each member is going to come up to read or say a few words about what this experience has meant to them. For me, West Bridgewater heritage is an identity that forms over time through sharing of experiences. It is history making in motion, borrowing from the past, learning to live in the moment, and casting a gaze towards hopeful tomorrows. For me, West Bridgewater heritage is perseverance, remembrance, and learning to love. It is a torchlight that each of us, given our gifts and our talents, must share and pass on. For me, West Bridgewater heritage is transcendence. I will now invite to the podium Jason Ross.
So I know a lot of you out there are wondering, what does the Heritage Committee mean? Well, to me, what it means is remembering. And that's both good memories and bad memories. You know, we preserve the high school both through pictures and through objects, you know, and that's material. We remember the good memories, such as how we got here today, and the friends we made along the way, as well as bad memories, such as ceiling tile falling on me. And I'm sure a lot of you have similar experiences. But what's more important than the high school itself, because we've had a couple high schools before. We had the Howard High School, then the old high school, and now this high school. And I'm sure we'll have another one in the future, far from now. But what that means to us is also who goes through those doors, who makes the history, what you remember from it, and basically you guys, both the class before you and the class after you, and so on. So it's really just the memories you make and looking back at how you made those memories. Thank you.
How about it, everybody? Well, the Heritage Committee has shown me the process of conserving history. From the first meeting I attended as a freshman, I knew this was a club for history buffs like me. Each and every member of the committee, including those who have graduated, have showed a great work ethic and inspired me to help accomplish each of our goals. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Throughout the past 7 years, being at West Bridgewater, I have to say this town is a lot different than any other town that I've been to. I've moved around, been at different schools before. And for whatever reason, the school is it's kept me here for so many different reasons, and that's essentially why I joined the West Bridgewater Heritage Committee. West Bridgewater Heritage cannot be captured or described in any way, as you would have to experience the heritage to embrace the true culture of this small farm town community. For myself, West Bridgewater Heritage will always be a part of the person I am today and the person I will become in the future. Thank you.
Over the past 3 years, the Heritage Committee and myself have put our heart and souls into preserving the history of West Bridgewater. This time capsule is an accumulation of all of our hard work and the dedication we have had for this small group of people. In 25 years, I hope to look back on what I have accomplished today and smile at how far I have come from the past. West Bridgewater will always be in our hearts, no matter the time or place, and that is something that we can all treasure. Thank you.
We each have our own past and heritage that we call our own. West Bridgewater has given us the opportunity to come together and share something unique and special. We know what it felt like to walk the halls of the old WBHS, growing from little 7th graders into our high school years, crossing paths at the T, and no one can take those memories away from us. That is why this time capsule has been so important and crucial, because it holds the key to everything we may have lost, but will never be forgotten. I am proud to be a part of the first class graduating from the new school, but will always hold the old school with us. Thank you.
Guys. Hi. In a world where things are always moving forward, we're forced to always think ahead. But from time to time, we should always take a moment to look into the past and see what brought us up to this very moment. Today, I'm very proud to stand in front of all of you on this very special day with my friends and colleagues as part of the Heritage Group. It's more than just a collection of soon-to-be relics. Not only are there going to be physical objects inside this capsule, but there will be all the precious memories that we built together working on this project. This ceremony here represents the pinnacle of all our hard work over the last 3 to 4 years. I really came to appreciate the work that people put into preserving history. When we unearthed this capsule in 2041, future generation of students may disregard our contributions without thought. But you know what? I can say that I worked on this project. And as a West Bridgewater resident, I'm very honored to partake in this opportunity to make history in my very own hometown. Okay, so at this time, I'm going to read a list of items that were included in the time capsule. So for books, we have What is Life? The Next 50 Years by Michael P. Murphy and Luke A.J. O'Neill. Time capsule edited by Donald R. Gallo. And for magazines, we have Time 100 Most Influential People from 2011 to 2015 and 2016. Time, What Has Changed and What Hasn't. We have Average Cost of Living in 2016, the Program of Studies, the Washington, D.C. trip itinerary, and for yearbooks, we have the Climbers from years 1947 to 1950, as well as the Class of 2015 and 2016 yearbook. As for multimedia items, we have a floppy disk from 1993, a Class of 2006 CD, old high school videos on an SD card, film strips and cassettes, media and language arts VHS. And as for student projects, so a bunch of students contributed their own works onto a bunch of flash drives. So we have various student works, including things involving around sports, fashion, technology, photos of the old school dedicated from the old photo club, as well as videos from the TV production. In addition, we also have various forms of currency and money, such as the 1776 bicentennial quarter, the Massachusetts quarter, and various editions of dimes, pennies, and nickels. And for diploma and annual reports, we have the Old School Diploma, the Howard School Diploma, as well as the 1949, 1948, and 1953 annual town report. And for miscellaneous items, we'll have old school keys and the commemorative wooden West Bridgewater High School plaque from the May 2nd building event. And now I shall turn the mic to Maya Hay to read a thank you list and instructions to future administration.
Okay, before we bury this thing in the ground, in no particular order, the Heritage Group wishes to thank the following people for their support and contributions to this project. Mr. Eric Benson, for the longest-running principal at WBMSHS, whose steady leadership navigated the school through challenging times. Mr. Jim Benson, town historian and alumni, who provided critical information for our Heritage DVD and Old Schools keepsakes. The current administration, Mr. Mark Bodwell and Ms. Christine Page, for their encouragement and support. Ms. Julie Hamblin and Mark for their efforts in preparing our site. Marilyn Raleigh, alumni, who inspired us with all of the great stories she told us. Mr. Ed Sarrow and Mr. Steve Barrett for the longest-running teachers, coach, and all their wonderful stories. Ms. Colleen Kelly, an alumni and current teacher, thank you for sharing with us all those photographs and special insights. Mr. Zach Ennis for the Photo Club advisory photos and for his history teacher work. Ms. Christine Basford for the aerial photos. Mr. Mike Rosso for inspirational words and photos. Mr. John Collins, Mr. Scott Cray, and Mr. Ben Smith for their technical support. Ms. Stacy DiLorenzo, Ms. Mary Graziano, Jane Walsh, and Nurse Schmier for their assistance. Thank you to the many staff and their students who shared their students' projects with us. Thank you to all our guests today and to our senior class, the class of 2016, the first to be graduating from the new building. Be sure to make your calendars, everyone, for 2041, when we will gather on May 16th to celebrate our accomplishments and to pass the torch to the next generation. Thanks and recognitions is such an endeavor must also include the West Bridgewater community, including parents, families, and area businesses. The school committees past and present, the building project committees, town leaders, the PTOs, the teachers, administrations, support staff past and present of the West Bridgewater community. Nor can we forget the contributions of the many people whose efforts went in and continue to go into the day-to-day efforts with our students working on yearbooks, town reports, programs of studies, clubs, and athletic programs, just sampling of which we are including in this time capsule. The group wishes to thank Dr. Oakley, whose progressive vision, guidance, and efforts accumulating in a new school are leading us into the 21st century, as we turn the page into the next chapter of our heritage journey. Now, these are the instructions that are going to be left to the group that opens the time capsule in 2041. On this day, May 16, 2016, we, the Heritage Group, and those gathered here, dedicate this time capsule to be buried here undisturbed for 25 years. The site is marked by our West Bridgewater Middle Senior High School plaque, affixed by our Hickory School, which commemorates the former building from 1953 to 2016. Our instructions are that the administration, in effect, open the time capsule in the month of May in the year 2041. The items, some of which date back to the closing dates of the Howard School, should be carefully handled, put on display for students and public viewing for a sufficient period of time for reflecting, and then buried in the same location for another 25 years, allowing for the process to continue each. At this time, the Heritage Group members do dedicate the time capsule to the West Bridgewater community and to all its prosperity.
this concludes our ceremony, our dedication ceremony today. Thank you for coming out.